featuring comedian Kevin Hart. He will lead a crew of thieves from around the world to infiltrate a passenger plane, attempting to hijack $500 million worth of gold at an altitude of 12,000 kilometers. The story begins at this auction, where the police have 360-degree surveillance without any blind spots. The international thief, Sadas, shows his true face directly. The police are even more vigilant towards his arrogant behavior. Finally, Sadas bids on an exhibit worth $12 million. When the female police officer learns that the owner of the exhibit is John, she knows Sadas has noticed the surveillance. It turns out that the female police officer once stayed in John's studio for a while. Sure enough, the next second Sadas looked in the direction of the camera. In the end, the exhibit was bought by Sadas for a high price of $20 million. When the staff announced the deal, Sadas gave the theft command to his companions through an earpiece. As the staff's hammer fell, a fire alarm suddenly rang out at the auction. Sadas, who had been under police surveillance, finally made a move. The staff at the auction immediately evacuated the crowd. At that moment, the safecracker, Mag, had already taken out the famous flower locked in the treasure cabinet, and then put it into the scroll. The police quickly sealed the entrance. At this time, the female police officer suddenly realized Sadas wanted to steal the exhibit she just auctioned off. The best way is to kidnap the artist. At this time, the artist, under the coaxing of Sadas and his female accomplice, has already boarded the thief's boat. Seeing this, the female police officer immediately applied for a dispatch to the dock for interception. Sadas successfully attracted the attention of the police, helping Mag cover up. At this time, he hung a locator on the scroll and directly threw it into the water. Engineer Liu Yao immediately picked it up, while the female police officer and her colleagues were chasing in a speedboat. They were intercepted by a suddenly raised dam. She could only reluctantly ask for help from the headquarters to search for Sadas' whereabouts. Although the artist doesn't know he has been kidnapped, he even thinks the female police officer is just a scary fan. Pilot Camilla, with her own technology, threw off the female police officer. After the artist willingly boarded the yacht, Sadas gave him the $20 million from the auction exhibit. So the artist joined the yacht's revelry, drank to the point of drunkenness. When he woke up the next day, the news of the artist's kidnapping was already on the front page. But he was still groggy. Only after the thief gang's reminder did he realize he was kidnapped. It turned out that the thief gang led by Sadas, Emba, decided to protect the artwork under the guise of kidnapping. Sadas took out the Mona Lisa on his keychain. For example, Leonardo da Vinci sold it for $25,000. No one cared about this work for 400 years. Until someone stole the painting. Its value has now risen to $860 million. Because there is a crazy story behind it. For a while, after the news of the artist's kidnapping hit the front page, his works also directly soared in price. From $3 million auctioned to $20 million, directly rose to $86 million. And the biggest credit for this propaganda, with the arrest warrant from Interpol, the artist finally understood. He not only celebrated with the thief gang, Sadas then discovered that the master of disguise, Danton, was missing. At this time, he was being interrogated by the female police officer. Suddenly, a colleague brought the female police officer's express delivery. When he opened the box, he found a photo of himself and Sadas inside. He immediately decided to take Danton back to the headquarters in London. When the female police officer was about to continue tracking Sadas, her superior called her aside. Then he explained the plan to cooperate with Sadas, even wanting to use the painting stolen by Sadas as a reward. The female police officer was completely confused. Just as she strongly opposed it, her superior pulled up the information on the banker, Larson. He has a lot of artwork obtained through theft. His tricks are even more shameless than the thieves. Larson is good at investing money in terrorist organizations, and then shorting related stocks to make a lot of money. He is willing to use people's lives as a price to make money. He crashed a plane in New Zealand. A total of 183 passengers died. The airline's stock price plummeted. Larson made a fortune by betting against this stock. Tasting the sweetness, Larson began to repeat the old trick. Interpol has been frustrated by the lack of evidence. They can only let Larson get away with it. Fortunately, the superior found an insider named Arthur, and through him, he learned about Larson's next move. He is preparing to cooperate with hackers, control the dam of the city. As long as Larson gives the order, a city will be flooded or dry up. It will cause millions of dollars in losses. Larson has been working hard to short stocks and public stocks around the world. The police can't even predict